Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video on my Fulbright experience. So I'm still here in the Czech Republic. I've been here for 7, almost 8 months now. I only have about 2 or 3 months to go, which is so sad because I am just absolutely loving it here and I'd really love to stay for longer. So for this video, I'm going to do 4 separate categories. So I'm going to talk about teaching first because I am an ETA, an English teaching assistant. Then I will talk about your mentor, and then I'm going to talk about the social life in the country that you're in, and then travel. So let's just jump in and start with teaching. So I am at a business academy here in the Czech Republic. I'm in a town called Prostějov, which is about 50,000 people. So it's not a big town, but it's also not a small town. Most of my students come from neighboring villages of about 200 people. So this is kind of a little bit of a city for them. I teach 16 classes a week, so 16 hours of teaching plus prep, conversation club, and then any English tutoring I'm doing on the side. And I teach everyone in the school. So there are 250 students at my school, and I teach every single one of them once a week. And these students are ages between 15 and about 22 or 23. So it is the high school, so freshmen to seniors in high school if we're thinking about it in American terms. So I teach them one class, so I don't really get to see all of the students all too frequently, but this way I get to teach all of them because the school felt like if I did not have a class with every single student, then some students would feel left out, their parents would not be happy about it and things like that. And a lot of the other ETAs in the Czech Republic are having the similar experience as I am, where they don't just focus on 1 or 2 classes, they are having classes with everyone, so they're really spread out. So teaching in the Czech Republic is very different than teaching in the States. There's a whole bunch of different customs and different ways of learning that I wasn't really accustomed to when I first came, but have learned a lot about. I'll kind of just say a couple things that really surprised me, like when they come into the school. The first day I walked in and there were a whole bunch of students around the door and they were taking off their shoes and putting on slippers. And I was very confused because why would you walk into school and put on slippers? And for them, they explained it to me. It was actually a sanitary thing. They think that it's really unsanitary to be wearing shoes inside at school. So if they don't put slippers on, they will get in trouble from the teachers. Or other things like when you're teaching in America, I don't really feel like it's the best practice to call students out in class and say, hey, what's the answer to number 3 right now? I usually open it up to the class and say, what do you guys think is the answer to number 3? And whoever volunteers. Here, the students, they really want it more structured. If you want them to give an answer, you should be calling on them and saying, okay, what is the answer to this question? And then that's when they'll answer. If you open it up to the whole class, everyone will stay quiet. And that has been kind of a theme throughout all of my classes. People are not as loud. The Czech people just aren't as loud, or I would say a little bit like rambunctious as American high schoolers. Teaching though has been absolutely amazing here. I teach with 4 different English teachers and all of them teach very differently. So I'm teaching kind of different styles in every class, whether it be like a flipped classroom or whether we're just teaching the book or we're co-teaching. Things like that. So you really learn a lot about working with other people in the classroom. So that's about it, I think, for the teaching part of this. I can always dive more into that in a different video, but now I'm just going to move on to mentors. So when you get an English teaching assistant position with Fulbright, you get assigned a mentor. And this person, your mentor, is the person that you go for everything. So like she is your home base. She will get you medications if you are sick. Basically set up social events, help you at school, anything. That is what your mentor does. So it is really important to have a good or at least working relationship with your mentor. Now, every year when you're on a Fulbright, there are bad mentors. There could also be bad Fulbrighters too. So it really is just a combination of the mentor and the Fulbright. Don't have a good relationship, and you can change your mentors in that case, or you can change schools in that case if it's very severe. But it only happens, maybe 1 out of the 30-person cohort. For me, this year, I have the most absolutely amazing mentor ever. She really is wonderful. I spent a lot of time at her house. I'm very good friends with both her daughter and son, who both speak English perfectly. So that's really good for me because my Czech is not very good. And her husband I've also gotten very close to, who actually does not speak any English. So we just communicate with the limited Czech I know and the limited English he knows. So both of us know like hello and how are you, and hand gestures, eating, or like do you want to go outside, go for a walk, things like that. And we have a really good relationship. So it's, even if you don't know the language in the country you're going to, you can still form those very meaningful relationships. So having a good relationship with your mentor is very important. But a lot of people ask, how do you create that? So the big thing that I recommend is actually start creating your relationship with your mentor before you get to your host country. So you get your mentor months before you actually come. So email them, text them, FaceTime them, Zoom them, whatever you can do to really get to know them. So when you come here, you already feel like you have like a little piece of home with you in your mentor. So that is what I did. She found me my housing. She found me students to take me around the town and to explore. And she introduced me to a lot of my friends that I now hang out with in my hometown today. So relationships with mentors are so important. So the next category, social. So of course, having a social life is so important. And when you move countries, I mean, it can be difficult to create that thriving social life that one might be used to. So in the Czech Republic, it is a little different how towns are set up. If you are of university age, you are in a university town. You are not in a small town like mine or in villages where I spend a lot of my time, where there's only 250 people living in that village. So in my town, there are usually young people, students, elementary and high school students, and then there's like the older people, the parents and the grandparents. But there really aren't any university-aged people in their 20s, some in their 30s. They're usually in the bigger towns where there are university students, where there's a more lively social life. So in towns like Prague or Brno, Ostrava, Olomouc, that is where they are going to be centered. So because of that, when you are in your host community, and this isn't just for the Czech Republic, this is really for most countries where you're placed into a community where there aren't many English speakers or Americans or people your age, you need to make friends with people you maybe wouldn't be friends with back in America. So for me, it's like my students. I have become such good friends with the juniors and seniors at my school. We go out for drinks, we go bowling, we go on weekend trips. And because I am an assistant teacher, an American here, I can form different relationships with the students than the actual teachers, Czech teachers who are here for 10 plus years. So I've really gotten close to my students and formed relationships and bonds with them. We've gone canoeing, rowing, we have gone skiing together, just so many different things. So really utilize the school that you are in to make those relationships, and be okay, be open-minded with hanging out with 18, 19-year-olds when you're here. Also, for social life, go and join Facebook groups, right? I joined a whole bunch of Facebook groups in my town or in towns near here. All of them are in Czech, but Facebook translate everything for you. So because they can translate all of the events, where they are, all of that information you need to know, you can then go to the events. Maybe no one will know English, but a good, dobrý den, jak se máte, right? A good hello, hi, how are you can really go a long way at these events, and maybe someone will know a little bit of English or still be very interested. You can use Google Translate to do that communication. A lot of times you will meet older people that don't speak any English, but their son or their daughter will speak English, and then they'll call them up and introduce you and things like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can meet people and have a social life in a country that you have just moved to when you're on a Fulbright. So now I'm going to be talking a little bit about travel. So travel when you're on a Fulbright is restricted to a certain number of days. So in some countries that's 10 days. For my country that is 20 days. 20 days may seem like a lot, but travel includes holiday and weekends. So you actually aren't free to leave your country on the weekends to go to another country to visit. So that 20 days actually dwindles down very fast, especially when you have spring break, Christmas break, Easter holiday, all of those different breaks, and you kind of have to use your days wisely. So since I have been here, I've been to Austria, I've been to Hungary, I've been to Poland, I've been to Germany, I've been to Sweden, and I've been to Denmark. So 6 countries I've done so far, and I hopefully have a couple more countries coming up soon. So you do get that opportunity to travel, but it is always limited by Fulbright. You are usually in your country with also a cohort of other Americans, so you don't have to travel alone. You can ask other Fulbrighters hey, where do you want to go? And you can create these big group trips because usually you have the same breaks as the other Fulbrighters. So I only went to Copenhagen, Denmark, and Sweden because other Fulbrighters wanted to go there. Otherwise, I really never would have gone. So you can really utilize the other ETA Fulbrighters on the Fulbright to do really fun things with, and you get really close with all of the other Fulbrighters too by doing this. So overall, I've had the most amazing time, as you can probably tell. It is so wonderful to go to another country, to open yourself up to another culture, and to just be a lifelong learner, and to really learn how Czech people live, to learn their language, to learn stereotypes of what they think Americans are, things like that, and to also teach them about your culture and what you're used to. I've had the privilege of living in California, Oregon, New York, Massachusetts, and they have loved hearing about how different, Oregon from New York City is. And the experiences that I have had, and I love hearing about the experiences that they've had in the Czech Republic. So it really is this exchange of culture that is really, it's quite brilliant, and anyone who gets to experience this, I would consider them so lucky. So that is kind of how the first 7 months of my Fulbright are going. And if you have any questions, please put them down below. I'd love to talk more about my Fulbright because I've just had such an amazing time. And that's it from me. So thank you for watching my video, and I will see you later. Bye!